I'm going to show you not only how to get her to bring you a beer, but to love you more than anyone ever has and ever will. There's 4 things that will help you, and I'm going to take you through all 4, with the last thing being the most important part. If you're single and you want a girlfriend, or you have a girlfriend and you want to improve your relationship, this video is for you. Viktor Pavlov discovered what we now call Pavlovian conditioning. He would tie a dog to a post and squirt some stuff in its mouth, and the dog would begin salivating. He figured out if he paired the squirt of the food stuff with the ring of a bell, he could get the dog to salivate just by ringing the bell. There's one issue. Women are not dogs, so if you ring a bell at her, you will never see her naked again. How to get her to bring you a beer, principle numero uno. She wants to be happy. You may think this is obvious, but we need to go deeper.
We need to go deeper.
Unless she is a complete fucking psychopath, her happiness comes from 2 places, externally and internally. Externally, when people do things for her that make her happy, like when she gets flowers or goes on vacation. And internally, when she does nice things for other people, when she shows support to her friends, or, and you guessed it, supports you as a partner by bringing you a beer. Now, this means inherently she is absolutely willing to bring you a beer 95% of the time. It's not an inconvenience. It's an opportunity for her to display to you just how much she loves and supports you. Now, the big question, does she support you? How to get her to bring you a beer, principle numero, the second one. All relationships are give and take. A perfectly balanced relationship is 50-50 in all things, but in the real world, this is not how relationships work all the time. But nonetheless, in everything, relationships must add up to 100 to be effective. So some days she will give you 70 because you will only be able to manage 30. And other days you will give 70 because she can only give 30. To contrast this appropriately, let's say the idea of physical and emotional support is balanced at the beginning of a relationship, 50-50. These 2 people give each other equal amounts of emotional and physical support. Fast forward 1 year and you as the man have been in your own world, not giving adequate emotional support to her. Meaning most of the time, it's 70-30. Now what happens if you ask her to get you a beer with support being in this split? Because of the inequality in support skewed in your favor, it is infinitely less likely that she will see the act of getting you a beer as an opportunity to show her love, but just as another example of her needs taking a backseat to yours. This is how resentment builds. And in the long run, in her eyes, you become an ungrateful, needy asshole. Now this is a very important idea. For her to see getting you a beer as an opportunity to show you her love and support, the distribution of support between you 2 in the relationship needs to be at the very least 50-50. If it's 50-50, getting you a beer turns into going above and beyond for her partner. If you show more support in the relationship, let's say 60-40, getting you a beer turns into her picking up the slack. Now we get to the meat of the issue, the real important part of this video, the holy grail, if you will. How do you show her support? Principle number 3. Not all support is equal. You have to figure out how your girl receives love. Everyone feels love in different ways. You could decide to buy her some jewelry, and she'll be like, all right, thanks, I guess. Then you could out of nowhere hit her with a massage at 9:30 p.m. after she finished a long shift. And she could start crying from happiness, because for the first time, somebody actually understands her. And she feels so lucky, because she feels she's dating a damn prince. Your actions of love do not have equal reactions. There's lots of women who only care about money. They feel love through gifts. The more expensive the gift, the more love they feel. There's even more women than that who could care less about expensive gifts. They would rather you go to art classes and make them the ugliest painting the world has ever seen than you spending an hour at a store and just buying something. The painting they will cherish so much more than the things you could just spend money on. Let me add a quick side note. The giving of expensive gifts can get confusing because there's some girls who don't want expensive gifts but will very much enjoy a certain gift that happens to be expensive. Let me give you an example. Let's say you bought a shitcoin early and sold at the spike and you made a pretty hefty sum of money. You want to buy your girlfriend something special because you love the shit out of her and want to show her just how much you appreciate her. You can A, get her a new car, B, get her a boat, or C, pay off her student loans. Now, these are all gifts, and they are all expensive. But the gift of paying off her student loans, although expensive, is an act that improves her life by alleviating stress and not adding perceived value. A new car may add value. A new boat may add value. Or it could ruin her because y'all live in the middle of Colorado and she doesn't even know how to drive a boat. But paying off her student loans takes something she's stressed about and removes it from her life. The same can go for new makeup kits or clothing where, although expensive, you can show your support in making her feel less insecure and more confident in her own body. So gifts can be a great way to show your support when properly planned. But built into support is love. Now there are 5 ways to show her you love her. The love languages. Receiving gifts we've already talked about. There's words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, and physical touch. She will likely have 1 or 2 of these preferred languages, and it's pretty easy to figure out which. If they can smash neurons together at light speed to find out what the universe was like 13 billion years ago, you can figure out how she wants to be loved. If you're single, this is really good information to have for when you get into a relationship. All you gotta do is think about a time when she was really appreciative of you. It could have been going and spending time with her friends and family. That's an act of service. It could be when you went for a weekend trip away together and played board games all weekend. That's quality time. It could be giving her a massage, act of service and physical touch. It could be not just telling her you love her, but telling her why you love her and how much you appreciate her. That is words of affirmation. Now, the more you do this, the more your side of the support balance ticks up. And we know what happens when your support balance is higher. You get a beer. Now, all of this is very easy. You will find that providing her more support is not laborious or hard at all. In actuality, you might get more happiness out of it than she will. The entirety of the Buddhist religion. Secrets kept locked in temples in the hearts of men who can meditate in caves for years. They all know the secret to true happiness is giving. So in you giving support to someone you love, you are actually providing support and happiness to yourself. All you need to remember is, 1, she wants to be happy. In the right context, providing you with a beer could be an act of love. 2, all relationships are give and take. To get the relationship into the right context, you need to do more giving and less taking. 3, not all support is equal. Find out what the right support is for her. 4, believe in your heart that in providing this support, you're not only helping her, but also helping you. In conclusion, do all of this, and she will jump at the opportunity to get you a beer. See you next time.